The town was quiet, peaceful, the kind of place where everyone knew each other and neighbors greeted each other with warm smiles. It was a town where the biggest excitement was the annual fair, and the loudest noise was the church bells on Sunday morning. The kind of place where children could roam free, their laughter echoing through the streets as they played games and rode their bikes without a care in the world. Summer days stretched out, filled with the smell of freshly cut grass and the laughter of kids on bikes. The sun seemed to shine a little brighter and the days felt endless, full of promise and joy. But that summer, a shadow fell over the idyllic town of Town Name. A darkness that no one saw coming, creeping in slowly and then, all at once, changing everything. It started with missing posters. At first just one or two, but soon they were everywhere, plastered on every telephone pole and shop window. 3 boys, their faces frozen in time, smiling out from telephone poles and shop windows. Their names whispered in hushed conversations, their absence felt in every corner of the town. They were paperboys, their roots winding through the heart of the community. Every morning, they delivered the news, a familiar sight on their bikes with bags full of newspapers. Then came the unthinkable. The boys were found, not safe, not sound, but lifeless, their bodies discarded like yesterday's news. The discovery sent shockwaves through the town, a collective gasp of horror and disbelief. The news spread like wildfire, charring the town's innocence. Headlines screamed of the tragedy, and the story dominated every conversation. Fear, sharp and cold, seeped into everyday life. The once vibrant streets now felt haunted, every shadow a potential threat. Parents held their children closer, their grip a little tighter, their eyes constantly scanning for danger. Doors that were once left unlocked now remained bolted shut. Trust, once abundant, was now a rare commodity. The idyllic facade of the town had been shattered, replaced by an unsettling question: who could have committed such a horrific act? The sense of security was gone, replaced by a lingering unease that would haunt the town for years to come. The investigation was swift, fueled by a potent cocktail of grief and outrage. The police worked tirelessly, chasing every lead, every rumor. Doors were knocked on, questions were asked, and alibis were checked. But the killer, it seemed, had vanished like a ghost. Weeks turned into months. Months bled into years. The case files grew thicker, but the answers remained elusive. The lack of progress fueled whispers. Suspicions took root, poisoning relationships. Neighbors who once shared friendly waves now eyed each other with distrust. Every stranger was a potential suspect. Every unfamiliar car a cause for alarm. The town, once a sanctuary, was now held hostage by its own fear. The investigation, like a persistent archaeologist, began to unearth the town's buried secrets. The seemingly perfect families, the pillars of the community, were revealed to have cracks in their foundations. There were whispers of infidelity, hushed-up scandals, and long-held grudges. The missing boys, once symbols of youthful innocence, became unwilling catalysts, exposing the underbelly of their seemingly idyllic town. The more the police dug, the more they realized that everyone had something to hide. The truth, it seemed, was a tangled web, and the victims were caught in its intricate and deadly design. The idyllic veneer of the town was gone, replaced by the grim reality of human fallibility and the chilling potential for darkness that lurked beneath the surface. Time, the supposed healer, did little to soothe the town's wounds. The case grew cold, the files gathering dust in some forgotten corner of the police station. But the memory of the murdered boys lingered, a ghost that refused to be laid to rest. Their faces, forever young, stared out from old photographs, serving as a constant reminder of the tragedy that had befallen them. The unanswered questions echoed in the silence, amplifying the pain and frustration. The town continued to function, life went on, but the shadow of the murders remained a constant companion to their grief. Section 5. A Glimmer of Hope. New technology breathes life into the cold case, offering a chance for justice. Then, in 2020, a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon. Advancements in DNA technology, a beacon in the darkness, offered a chance to finally crack the case. The evidence, untouched for years, was re-examined with meticulous care. The whispers that had haunted the town for so long were suddenly infused with a new kind of anticipation. Could this be the break they had been waiting for? Could the technology, so advanced from the rudimentary tools of the past, finally bring the killer to justice? Hope, like a fragile sapling, began to take root in the hearts of the townspeople. Section 6. The DNA doesn't lie. A breakthrough in the case leads investigators down a new path toward a familiar face. The results sent shockwaves through the community. The DNA preserved in the evidence pointed to a suspect, not a stranger, not an outsider, but someone they knew, someone who had lived among them, shared their lives, and all the while harbored a dark secret. The revelation reopened old wounds, the pain as raw as the day the boys disappeared. The community, once bound by shared grief, was now fractured by suspicion and disbelief. How could someone they knew commit such a heinous act? The answer, it seemed, lay buried deep within the soul of a man they thought they knew. Section 7. Unmasking the monster. The truth emerges, revealing a betrayal of trust that shakes the town to its core. It was a revelation that no one saw coming, a hidden darkness that had been festering right under their noses. The town, once a picture of tranquility, was now a place of suspicion and fear. The arrest sent shockwaves through the community. People gathered in small groups, whispering in hushed tones, their faces pale with disbelief. The sense of betrayal was palpable, as if the very ground beneath their feet had shifted. The man, now in custody, had been a quiet presence in their lives, a neighbor, a friend, a respected member of the community. He had attended their gatherings, shared in their joys and sorrows, and had been a part of the town's fabric for years. His face, once a symbol of normalcy, was now splashed across newspapers and television screens, a stark representation of their shattered reality. The media frenzy only added to the chaos as reporters descended on the town, hungry for every sordid detail. As the investigation deepened, a sinister truth began to unravel. Detectives pored over evidence, piecing together a puzzle that revealed a chilling narrative. Each new discovery was more disturbing than the last, painting a picture of a man who had led a double life, a story of manipulation, of betrayal, and of a darkness that had festered beneath the surface for years. Old photographs and cryptic notes hinted at a long history of deceit, a web of lies that had ensnared the innocent. The man, they learned, had used his position of trust to get close to his victims, exploiting their innocence for his own twisted desires. He had been a master of disguise, hiding his true nature behind a mask of kindness and respectability. The revelation sent a chill through the community, a stark reminder that monsters don't always lurk in the shadows, but often hide in plain sight. The once bustling playgrounds now stood empty, a haunting symbol of lost innocence and shattered trust. Section 8. Justice delayed, not denied. The long wait for justice ends, bringing closure but no solace. The trial was a media spectacle, the courtroom packed with reporters and curious onlookers. The families of the victims, their faces etched with years of pain and sorrow, sat stoically, their eyes fixed on the man who had stolen their sons from them. After years of waiting, of unanswered questions and restless nights, the verdict came: guilty. Justice had been served, but it was a bittersweet victory. While the verdict brought a sense of closure, it couldn't erase the pain, the loss, the gaping hole left in the lives of those forever touched by the tragedy. Section 9. Scars that remain. The town reflects on the dark chapter in its history, forever marked by the tragedy. The once vibrant streets now carry an air of melancholy, a stark contrast to the bustling life that once filled them. The echoes of laughter and joy have been replaced by whispers of sorrow and remembrance. The town, forever scarred by the tragedy, began the slow process of healing. The overgrown graveyard stands as a silent witness to the passage of time, while the memorial garden, meticulously maintained, symbolizes the community's commitment to never forget. The memory of the murdered boys remained, a poignant reminder of the fragility of innocence and the enduring power of community. Candlelight vigils became a tradition, a way for the townspeople to come together, share their grief, and find solace in each other's company. The case, a chilling testament to the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most idyllic communities, served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that evil can wear many faces and often hides in plain sight. The once trusting community now looked over their shoulders, wary of the shadows that seemed to grow longer with each passing day. And though the scars of the past may never fully heal, the town found strength in unity, vowing to honor the memory of the lost boys by cherishing the present and protecting the future. Community gatherings became more frequent as people sought to rebuild the bonds that had been frayed by tragedy. The act of placing flowers at the memorial became a symbol of hope and resilience, a promise to safeguard the innocence of future generations.